Hi, alright, thanks for tuning in. I'm Jamie, and on this channel I'll be sharing with you my daily life whilst trying to conceive and start a business. On today's video, I'll be sharing with you my story of being in the 1%, the 1 in 4 women who are affected by baby loss. A miscarriage is hard at any stage, but today I'll be discussing with you my missed miscarriage at 12 weeks. Today I'll be talking about what a missed miscarriage is, what happens after a missed miscarriage has been confirmed, and what procedures you can have done if you've been affected by a missed miscarriage. A missed miscarriage or a silent miscarriage is one where the baby has stopped developing, but you have yet to actually miscarry. In my case, I had no symptoms. I attended my 12-week scan as normal, and as the sonographer moved her magic wand around my stomach, I could tell that something was wrong. I could see out of the corner of my eye that something just wasn't right. And although there was a screen in front of me, I didn't exactly know what to look for. She called in a colleague who confirmed my worst fears. I was having a missed miscarriage. My baby had stopped developing at 11 weeks. They took us into a side room and she said a doctor would be with us soon to explain what happened next. What happens after a missed miscarriage is confirmed? As we waited for the doctor, so many things ran through my mind. I questioned myself. How did I not notice? How did I not know? Where was the blood? I didn't have any bleeding. Okay, yes, I had some cramping, but cramping is normal in pregnancy. So after what seemed like hours, a nurse came in with a doctor to explain what would be happening next. She explained to me that because I had not actually passed the pregnancy, I would need to have a procedure. This procedure was called a D&C. They would put me to sleep and I would have this procedure the following day. They'd already booked me in and advised me with a leaflet what the procedure would involve and how long it would last. She advised that the procedure would not take very long and I would be going home the same day. The cervix would be dilated and this spoon-like instrument would be used to scrape the tissue from inside my uterus. I'll insert a picture somewhere just so you can see what I mean when I say a spoon. It's not literally a spoon. And this picture isn't technically going to be of my uterus because that would be weird. Well, unfortunately, just like most things in my life, nothing really goes to plan. You'll find out more about that as I tell you my stories. But I had the procedure and the procedure went well as that kind of procedure can go. But in recovery, I struggled a little bit. I guess the medication they used to wake me up from the anesthesia just didn't agree with me, and I ended up being in horrific pain. I was bleeding, which would not stop, and I was vomiting as well. So they placed a nurse in the room with you to keep an eye on you, and this poor nurse was by my side for 5 hours in recovery, just trying to feel like a normal human being after the anesthesia wore off. Once I finally got home, I crawled into bed and I had this overwhelming feeling of guilt. This feeling like you just left your baby in the hospital. And I struggled to find words, but people that have been through this experience know what I'm talking about. For most people, they will have their baby and bring them home, and that's what's supposed to happen. That's the most natural thing that's supposed to happen after you give birth. But when you've had a miscarriage, you don't get to do that, and you have this feeling of abandonment, basically, like you've abandoned your baby. I'd chosen not to have a ceremony or to do anything really to say goodbye. I just couldn't deal with it at the time. I guess for me, took the safest option just to secure my mental health, really. My workplace was very understanding and very patient with me through the whole process. They advised me to get counselling and take as much time as I needed. But I really didn't want to be at home. I didn't want to keep thinking about what I'd lost or what I could have done differently, or the guilt of just not knowing. How did I not know? So after around 2 weeks, I returned to work. This was my way of keeping busy and not having to think about things, and just wanted to get stuck in and basically jump in the deep end feet first. For around 2 weeks, I bled quite heavily. I had cramping. I was prescribed with medication to stop me from lactating. As much as I thought returning to work was the best idea for me, and in some ways it was. A few weeks after I'd returned to work, I was at home and I just remember breaking down crying. And I think it probably just really hit me that probably now I would be 16 weeks gone, I would start to show, I could start to tell people, and that unfortunately I was not going to get that chance. I'm the kind of person who needs to be able to process things logically, and in my mind I just had to keep telling myself, this was not your fault. I couldn't have done anything to prevent this. And it was a tricky time because people really didn't know what was going on. I think maybe I told my cousin at that time, but I really didn't tell anyone, and nobody really knew what I was going through at work other than management. So my colleagues and things didn't really know how I was feeling or why I was feeling. I just distanced myself from people and isolated myself so I could process my emotions when I was ready. I told myself that next time I would be more relaxed, I would rest more, I would work less, I would be careful of what medications I was taking and what vitamins and supplements I was taking. Maybe that had something to do with it. I would pay more attention to the signs because I must have had bleeding at some point, the cramping was a bit much. So next time I knew what the signs would be, and I would know what to do, and I would just be extra vigilant, extra cautious next time. Well, the next time would have to go on hold. I was planning to move house and I thought it would be the wrong time to get pregnant. So I was not focused on getting pregnant again or trying, and I just got on with finding somewhere to live and settling down with my partner. To find out the next part of my journey, you'll have to watch the next episode. Did everything go to plan? I mean, does it ever go to plan? Of course it didn't go to plan. When does anything really go to plan? Do people actually have lives like that where everything just falls into place? And I want to be one of those people. I ain't never been one of those people though. So tell me, what are your fears when it comes to sharing your miscarriage story? Leave your comments below. You or someone you know has been affected by a miscarriage, leave me an orange heart below, and if you'd like to share your story, please feel free to do so. This channel is all about supporting, encouraging and uplifting one another. Have a good day, and remember to always be a blessing to someone. For more information on the topics discussed, please see the links in the description below. Don't forget to follow the series. I post videos every Sunday and Wednesday 8 PM.